Hello, I'm Alex from Rubadub, and this is the Arturia Drumbrute. It's an analog drum machine with 16 voices, and you can probably see at the back there, it's totally covered in connections. So, massively useful. Connectivity is totally amazing. It's also going to be under £400, which is nuts. Like, when I talk a bit about what this can do, you'll see that that's just a crazy price for this thing. And most importantly, it fucking bangs. Like, it's a beast. It sounds amazing. So we'll take a look now at what it can do. So like I said, it's covered in connections. It's got kind of boring 1/4 inch connection for your headphones, but then it's got a 3.5mm connection for your headphones, which is good if you're a dafty and you lose your 1/4 inch to 3.5 or the other way adapter, which is something I think we've all done. Level for the headphones. Mix output, so again, pretty straightforward. It's a sum of all the different drum voices. And then it gets interesting. You've got individual outs for like kind of common drum voices. So you've got the metronome and like a weird zap drum. And then the hi-hats, they're all on one. And then maraca and tambourine, they're on one. The clap is on one. And then the rim is on one, snare and cymbal, blah, blah. So you like kick, so you get it. Individual drum outs, that's cool. And I don't think there's any other drum synth with like that number of individual outs at this kind of price, which is, it's great. You've also got clock out and clock in, so you can clock this, as the name would suggest, to analog devices or CV devices like a modular synth, or like if you've got old drum machines or whatever. And the other thing about these clocks is internally you can make them run at different rates. So it'll clock to like all kinds of things, like 2 ppqn, 24 ppqn, 48 ppqn. It's really, really sophisticated in that regard. You've got the midis, you've got the ins and the outs, and then you've got the USBs for connecting over to your computer, and then you've got power, which makes the whole thing work. So what I want to show you next is some of the features of this that allow you to sequence in interesting ways. So I've got a really simple 4/4 kick drum. So far, so straightforward. What I can do, I've been told that polyrhythm's not correct. It's called polymeter, Steve told me. But they call it polyrhythm, so fucking allow it, right? Anyway, what it means is I can have different step lengths for all the voices. So I can get a tom, like comme ça, and then it can be 7 steps. I can put a wee hing there and another wee hing there, and then this little guy, this other tom, hello, he can be 5 steps like that, and then I can put another hing there, and then wee thing there, and then you get this, this kind of pattern that loops round irregularly, and that's polymeters. And it sounds really good, and it's a really simple way to make interesting rhythms without having to think too hard about programming them. And that's a really useful part of this drum machine. I like it. The other thing that's good is this stuff here. There's these pattern effects, and one of them is a randomness pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in, do some rim shots, and I'll put rim shots in on every step. I'll maybe stick some accents in as well, and pretty kind of straightforward pattern. But if I turn randomness on, make sure I've got that drum voice selected, then turn it up, then you'll get changes and random, random stuff happening. But what's interesting, if you know the random feature that's been on previous Arturia sequencers, is this only applies to that voice. You can apply it globally, and interestingly again, if you apply it globally, it only puts random stuff on voices that have got data on them. So like if there's like no symbols in the pattern that you're running and you turn random on, it's not just going to be like crash cymbal a go-go all of a sudden. It will stay consistent with the pattern that you wrote in the first place. And that's, yeah, I mean, as a live tool, as a compositional tool, that's a really useful thing to have in your arsenal. So why do you want to buy one of these? Well, first of all, did I mention it's going to be less than £400? And when you factor in all of these features, that price is just nuts. And all of this connectivity that I spoke about makes it really easy for you to connect the Drumbrute to other devices. So you can just, do you know what I mean? Like you can get started and you can be running it through an external device, even if like just a little, you know, crappy distortion pedal, or I've got it running through this ALM module, and yeah, got a little kind of feedback circuit there, so it's, it sounds ace. And you can take individual outs into devices like these to make it sound, to process them, to record individual tracks into your DAW. There's so much that you can do with this machine that's kind of only really possible with machines that are much more expensive than this. And listen to that. Listen to how it sounds. It just so fucking... So, what else is left to know about the Arturia Drumbrute? How big is it? This is a 12-inch record. So, it's a bit bigger than that, but it's probably not as big as a car. Pre-order now at www.rubadub.co.uk.